Okay, so are you ready to dive into episode 6 of Territory?
Always ready.
Because let me tell you, things get really intense in this one.
Yeah, they do.
It's like if the first 5 episodes were setting the stage, episode 6 is where the drama explodes.
It really does. It's fascinating how the writers use those early episodes to kind of plant those seeds of conflict.
Yeah.
And then episode 6 is where we see them blossom. Uh, you know, every decision from the past is coming back with a vengeance.
Right, like watching this chain reaction where
Mhm.
each choice has these like massive ripple effects,
Mm.
not just for the characters, but for the whole group.
And what's really interesting is how those consequences force us as viewers to think about the concept of trust.
Ah, that's so true.
Think about it. In this world of territory where survival is always on the line,
Right.
who can you really rely on?
That is such a good point. And it's not just about trusting other people, but also trusting your own instincts.
Yeah.
And episode 6 really throws those questions into sharp relief. It forces the characters to make some seriously difficult choices.
It's almost like the writers are holding up a mirror to us
Yeah.
and asking, what would you do in this situation?
Right.
Could you compromise your values to survive? Would you betray someone you care about to stay alive?
Those are some heavy questions.
Yeah.
And this episode does not shy away from exploring them.
Not at all.
And just when you think you have a handle on, who to trust or what the right decision is, bam.
Right.
There's this game-changing event that just throws everything into chaos.
It's brilliant. It's such a brilliant move from a storytelling perspective
Yeah.
because it forces us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about this world and these characters.
Totally. And the old rules don't apply.
Nope. Yeah.
And everyone's scrambling to adapt.
You really see the characters getting pushed to their absolute limits.
Yeah, we see them crack under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
but we also see them rise to the occasion.
Exactly. And everything in between.
It's amazing how much character development they pack into just one episode.
It really is.
Yeah.
We see those hidden strengths emerge.
Yes.
Long-held beliefs completely crumble, and relationships are tested like never before.
Like, remember the leader.
Yeah.
The one we've been following since the beginning.
Right.
Their authority is seriously challenged in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes you wonder if the traditional leadership model even works in this kind of chaotic world.
That's such a good point. It's almost a commentary on the nature of power itself,
Right.
Yeah. Is it something that you earn through strength and dominance? Or is it something that's built on trust and collaboration?
It really makes you think.
Episode 6 throws those questions wide open.
And I have to mention the character that's been relatively quiet until now.
Oh, yeah.
They really step up in episode 6.
They do.
They play a pivotal role in all the drama.
It's like the writers are showing us that anyone has the potential for greatness. Even the characters who seem unassuming or reserved at first.
I love that.
It makes you think about the hidden depths that we all have within us, just waiting for the right moment to come out.
It's so hopeful.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of all this darkness and uncertainty.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about individual moments of heroism, but also how episode 6 explores the bonds between the characters.
Right.
We see those moments of incredible camaraderie
Yeah.
where they're supporting each other through thick and thin.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in the toughest situations, human connection can be a source of incredible strength.
But there's also conflict, right?
Oh, of course.
There's a lot of conflict.
Tensions are running high and relationships are put to the test.
Definitely. The pressure cooker of survival brings out the best and worst in everyone.
Yeah.
We see alliances shift, secrets revealed, and old wounds reopened.
It's rough.
It's raw, it's real, and it's so compelling to watch.
And speaking of compelling, the suspense in this episode is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The writers are masters at keeping you on the edge of your seat.
They really are. You never know what's going to happen next. It's like they do such a good job of alternating between these quiet moments and then bam!
Exactly.
These sudden bursts of action that leave you breathless.
That's a roller coaster for your emotions.
And what's so crazy is that every twist and turn feels earned.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just about shock value.
It's all rooted in the characters and the story.
Exactly, which makes it that much more impactful.
And it never feels like they're manipulating us for cheap thrills either.
Right. It feels like they're taking us on a journey
It does.
alongside the characters.
You really feel like you're right there with them.
Yeah, and we're discovering the consequences of their choices in a way that's both surprising and inevitable.
I love that you said inevitable. Because it's true.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about those internal struggles and the moral dilemmas, but Episode 6 also throws some major external threats at these characters.
Oh, it does.
Remember that rival faction from Episode 3?
How could we forget?
They are back with a vengeance.
And they're not the only problem.
Oh, no.
The group is also facing natural disasters,
Oh, gosh.
dwindling resources, and the constant danger of the unknown.
So they're dealing with a lot.
It's like the writers are throwing everything they can at these characters
Yeah.
just to see what they're made of.
It's a test of their resilience.
It is, both as individuals and as a group.
But what's fascinating is that these external threats aren't just obstacles to overcome.
Right.
They actually serve as catalysts for character growth and plot development.
Absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
they force the characters to dig deep, to confront their fears, and ultimately to discover strength that they didn't even know they had.
It's that classic story of adversity leading to transformation.
Exactly.
And it's not just about individual growth either. We see these external threats also impacting the group dynamic.
That's right. Alliances are formed, and broken trust is tested, and we see the power structure within the group start to shift.
It's almost like these threats are a magnifying glass,
They are.
revealing the true nature of the relationships.
We see who's truly loyal, who's willing to step up and lead, and who is really just looking out for themselves.
And just when you think you have a handle on the world of territory,
Right.
Episode 6 expands things even further, gives us these glimpses into the bigger picture.
This is where the world building gets really interesting.
It does.
Because we start to see that this group's struggles are actually just a small part of a much larger conflict.
Yeah.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Ooh, I like that.
Every episode reveals more and more depth and complexity.
Okay, so we've talked about the action,
Yeah.
the suspense,
Yeah.
the emotional twists and turns,
So many twists and turns.
and how this episode expands our understanding of the world of territory.
Definitely.
But before we move on, I gotta ask,
Yeah.
what stood out to you the most? What left you thinking, wow, I did not see that coming?
That's a great question. And here's something else to think about.
Okay.
The writers are playing the long game here. They're dropping hints and foreshadowing events that are yet to come.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think those hints are pointing towards? What mysteries are you hoping will be revealed in future episodes?
Ooh, good questions.
One of the things that I think really stands out in this episode is
Yeah.
how the writers use visuals
Yes.
to enhance the emotional impact.
Oh, absolutely. Those landscape shots,
Oh my gosh.
I was captivated.
They're breathtaking.
They really capture the beauty and the unforgiving nature of the environment.
Right. And it's like the landscape itself becomes a character,
It does.
reflecting the turmoil and the threats.
Yes. And then the contrast of those wide shots.
Yeah.
With those intense close-ups during the confrontation.
Yes, the close-ups are incredible.
You're right in the character's emotional space.
You feel everything.
You can feel their anxiety, their desperation, their
Really?
determination.
It's like a window into their souls.
And it's not just the visuals.
Right.
The sound design in Territories is amazing.
It's so subtle but so effective.
It really builds the suspense.
Every footstep, every rustle of leaves
Every creep.
adds to this feeling of unease.
Like something bad's about to happen.
Like you're right there with them.
Feeling vulnerable.
And those moments of silence
Ooh.
where you can almost hear their thoughts racing.
Chills.
And then the music kicks in.
Oh, the music.
Perfectly timed.
It's so good.
It just fits so well.
Never overbearing.
Right.
It's subtle,
Understated.
but adds so much.
It's like a guide through the emotional landscape.
Yes. And speaking of landscape, let's talk about world building.
Okay.
This is where Episode 6 hints at something bigger.
Definitely.
We're not just talking about new locations or characters.
Not more than that.
We're getting glimpses of the history, the politics.
And underlying forces.
Shaping this world. It's like they're giving us puzzle pieces. And we have to figure out how they fit together.
So smart.
We're learning that the group's struggles are part of something so much bigger
Right.
than we initially understood.
So much bigger.
And that keeps the suspense going.
It does. We're constantly asking, who are these factions? What are their motives?
What are they hiding?
Exactly. It's a journey of discovery,
We're on the ride with the characters.
and we never know what's coming next.
And it's revealed so organically.
Yeah.
It's not just exposition dumped on us.
It's woven into the story.
Through dialogue, flashbacks, little visual cues.
You're piecing things together right along with the characters.
Which makes it so immersive.
Oh, Kelly.
Speaking of immersive, let's talk about the ending.
Oh, that ending.
It leaves you wanting more.
Masterclass.
It's not just a cliffhanger or a reveal.
It's the unease.
Yes.
The feeling that everything has changed.
And the danger's not over.
Not even close.
It's like they drop this bombshell and then cut to black.
Boom. Mic drop.
You're left reeling.
Trying to process it all.
And you need to know what happens next.
They don't give us any easy answers.
No, they don't.
Which is what makes it so good.
It's brilliant.
They give us just enough to make us wonder.
To speculate and theorize.
They make us active participants in the story.
We're not just watching anymore.
We're part of it.
And that's what makes Territory so good.
It's not just entertainment.
It makes you think, it makes you feel.
And it sticks with you.
I totally agree. So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are your predictions? What mysteries are you hoping to see unravel? What are your theories about those lingering questions from episode 6?
That's a great question, and it leads perfectly into the next part of our discussion. We've talked about the impact of this episode on the characters and the world, but we haven't talked about the consequences of their choices.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent this whole episode exploring all the twists and turns of episode 6.
All those jaw-dropping moments that completely change everything we thought we knew about Territory.
Right. It's remarkable how this episode is like a catalyst, propelling the characters in the story in these completely new directions.
It's not just about surviving anymore.
No, it's not.
It's about the choices that you make.
When survival's on the line.
And the consequences that ripple out from those choices.
You said it perfectly. It's like a morality test disguised as this action-packed thriller.
That's a good way to put it.
And each character is forced to confront their own values, their beliefs about right and wrong.
And those moments of truth reveal so much about who they really are.
Yeah, those internal struggles really resonate with the audience.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've all faced difficult choices in our lives.
Right.
Maybe not as extreme as the ones in Territory.
True.
But the core dilemma is the same.
It is. What are we willing to sacrifice to protect ourselves and the people we care about?
It's a classic question.
Yeah, it's been explored in stories forever.
But Territory brings this fresh perspective to it.
It does.
And the writers are so good at grounding those epic conflicts in these really relatable human experiences.
Yeah, you really feel like you're in their shoes.
It makes you think about what you would do.
If you were in that situation.
If you were in that situation. And they never let us forget that actions have consequences.
Nope. Every decision, every compromise, every betrayal has this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Impacting not just the individual, but the whole group.
Remember that scene where the leader's authority is challenged?
Oh, yeah.
That was such a powerful moment.
It was.
It wasn't just a power struggle. It was a commentary on leadership itself.
It really was.
You know? Is true leadership based on force? Or is it about inspiring trust and loyalty?
Such a good question.
And Territory doesn't give us the easy answers.
Nope.
It makes us wrestle with these questions.
And debate the choices that the characters are making.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it forces us to reflect on our own moral compass.
So good. As much as I love those character moments, I gotta say the world building in this episode was mind-blowing.
It was so good.
All those hints and revelations about this larger conflict.
They got me hooked.
It's classic slow burn storytelling.
It is.
They're so careful about how they give us information.
Little by little.
Teasing us with the past, the politics, those hidden forces.
It's like peeling back the layers of a mystery.
And with each episode, we get closer to the truth.
But there are always more questions.
More questions than answers.
Which is what keeps us coming back for more.
Exactly. Territory is more than just a show.
It's an experience.
It's an invitation to dive deep, to analyze, to unravel those mysteries.
To really think about those big ideas.
It's been such a journey dissecting episode 6 with you.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
From the action to the character development to the expanding world.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. But before we go, we want to hear from you.
What resonated with you in this episode? What are your predictions for the future of Territory?
Share your thoughts, your theories, your burning questions.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.